Good afternoon and welcome to our Management 131 country presentation on the state of Qatar. My name is Joseph Taviano.
My name is Derek Bentley.
I'm Jacob Gorthy.
I'm Michael Hernandez.
Jenny Rusk.
And we're going to be talking to you today about the country of Qatar. Qatar is located on the Arabian Peninsula, and by size it's the 164th largest country on Earth and occupies 4,467 square miles. It's on the eastern side of the Arabian Peninsula and it stretches into the Persian Gulf. As of 2014, the population was estimated to be 2.1 million people.
Alright, so first we'll look at the brief history of Qatar. In the 1700s, the land where Qatar is located today was used by migrants, and they used the land for trading settlements, and they mainly traded pearls. In 1867, Britain signed a treaty which recognized Qatar as a separate entity. This is due to conflict between the neighboring country of Bahrain. In 1939, oil reserves were discovered, and this became a new source of revenue for Qatar. In the 1950s, revenue from the oil expanded and modernized Qatar. In 1968, Qatar negotiates with the United Arab Emirates to form a federation. In 1971, Qatar becomes independent. In 1996, Qatar sets up the satellite TV for Al Jazeera, which is an independent channel, and it's used to broadcast to most of the Arab world. They covered news and controversial issues, and this shows that Qatar is a very entrepreneurial country. In 2005, Qatar came up with their first written constitution, which provided some democratic reform. In 2010, Qatar won the bid for the 2022 FIFA World Cup, which shows that they have potential for growth. And in 2013, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani takes over as Emir.
A little bit on the political and legal environment of the state of Qatar. Currently it's structured as a unitary, parliamentary, absolute monarchy, which sounds like a lot, but basically what it boils down to is that the Emir acts as a king, and the Prime Minister also is the second figurehead for the government. Additionally, they have a consultative assembly which helps draft some of the laws, but in reality the Emir has the final say on which laws go into effect. The legal system is a combination of both civil and Sharia law, and this has brought some criticism from developed countries around the world, especially human rights advocates, and they voiced some concerns over some of the punishments that Sharia law dictates that the courts were handing out. And in recent years, they've kind of cut back on those certain issues and have cleaned up their image. Additionally, a big legal development for the state of Qatar was that recently they reformed the guest worker program. It's now more relaxed. Previously, it was structured so that it was almost like indentured servitude, and those who had sponsored employees to come to Qatar could exact some restrictions on them that weren't exactly legal or considered humane.
Alright, so if we look at the economic, trade, and monetary environment of Qatar, we'll see that they are world rank 30, which makes them the 30th freest country out of 178 countries. Their economic freedom score is 71.2, which is measured by rule of law, limitation of government, regulatory efficiency, and open markets. Their population is 2.14 million, and their GDP is 187.9 billion. Right, so the GDP per capita of Qatar is 85,000 per person, and comparing to the United States of only 50,000 per person. Their unemployment rate is 0.5% compared to US of a 0.6%, and their inflation rate is 1.9%. They don't have an income tax or corporate tax. Instead, they have a tariff rate of 5.1%. According to the 2014 Index of Economic Freedom, Qatar is endowed with 25 billion barrels of proven oil reserves and the world's third largest natural gas reserves. Oil and gas comprise of 85% of Qatar's export revenue. They have one of the highest per capita incomes and almost no poverty. They have a well-designed legal structure, which is shown in their record of anti-corruption. When it comes to launching a business, it's a pretty straightforward process for entrepreneurs. There's 8 procedures and it takes a little bit over a week.
Qatar is a fairly liberal country, be respectful of local culture and beliefs. Arabic is the main language used in business communications, although English is widely used. It is useful to have any documentation printed in Arabic and learn some key phrases and terms to help with communicating and negotiating. Working practices are different in Qatar. Friday and Saturday are classified as the weekend, so all businesses will be closed on these days. Business hours differ widely to the usual working hours of most European and U.S. businesses, and hours will vary during holidays, so be aware of this when scheduling appointments. When booking meetings, it isn't usually necessary to schedule in advance. Qataris have a somewhat relaxed approach to time, so prepare to be flexible. Avoid booking meetings during the prime vacation months of July and August. If women will be in attendance in a meeting, inform your Qatari counterparts of this prior to meeting. Greetings are important. When greeting your Qatari counterparts, take time to do so, as this shows your interest and sincerity, which is appreciated in Qatari culture. Handshakes can last longer than usual. Ensure that you shake with the right hand, as it is customary. Qataris are tactile in nature, and holding hands between men is common, so don't be surprised by this. Before greeting a woman, wait for her to extend her hand, and if she does not, do not shake hands so as not to go against cultural traditions and cause offense. Choose your words carefully. Be careful not to use the word no or similarly direct negative terms. An indirect communication style is preferred in Qatar. Also, spoken word is taken very seriously in Qatar business culture. If you agree to something or promise something, you must follow this through as it is expected. Cultural dimensions. Hofstede doesn't have cultural dimensions for Qatar, so we focused on the United Arab Emirates. Their power distance is 90, and they accept a hierarchical order in which everybody has a place in which needs no further justification. Their individualism is 25, which means it's a collectivistic society. There's a long-term commitment to the member group, be that a family, or extended relationships. Loyalty in a collectivistic culture is paramount and overrides most other societal rules and regulations. They scored a 50 on the masculinity dimension and can be considered to be neither masculine or feminine. A high score of 80 on the uncertainty avoidance means they have a high preference for avoiding uncertainty. They maintain rigid codes of belief and behavior and are intolerant of unorthodox behavior and ideas. Business culture. Establishing strong relationships is a very important part of the business culture, so you should take time to get to know your Qatari business partners. The purpose of initial meetings will be relationship building. Be open and friendly and expect not to discuss business during the initial meeting. Family is a good topic to discuss. However, avoid asking about female family members, especially wives or daughters, as this is considered disrespectful. Also, avoid talking about sex, religion, or regional politics. Remain in close distance to show respect and mutual understanding. Ensure that you smile and maintain eye contact, as this helps to build trust.
Next, we're going to have a short video on how to greet people in Qatar.
This is the American greeting.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
This is the Qatari greeting.
It's very nice to see you. How is your family doing?
Wonderful, thanks for asking.
Now, looking at some challenges facing Qatar, areas of concern focus on the foreigners outnumbering Qatari nationals in society. This puts them in direct competition with nationals for jobs. Typically, the younger generations tend to have more negative viewpoint on immigration compared to their elders. The population growth is also declining due to the gender imbalance. There are approximately 308 men for every 100 women in Qatar. Other challenges facing Qatar relate to the increase in urban density in Qatar's major cities. 74% of Qatar's population lives in Doha and Al Rahan. In Doha, on average there are 3,100 people per square kilometer, compared to only 8 people per square kilometer in suburban areas such as Shamal. The government's current focus is on incentivizing residents to live out of town. The government attempts to attract residents out of the main cities by providing encouraging prices or free housing to those who make the move. Despite Qatar's challenges, there are many opportunities for growth. Qatar has an influx of sustainable, institutional, and private wealth. The rapid pace of expansion is due to the country's hydrocarbon wealth. Qatar currently has a GDP growth of nearly 13%, primarily coming from the hydrocarbon production of natural gas. Natural gas and oil production account for the majority of Qatar's economy. Qatar has the world's third largest reserve of natural gas. Qatar is estimated to occupy $16 trillion in monetizable oil and natural gas reserves. Qatar's oil and natural gas liquid production is predicted to increase 34% by 2019. The nation's total natural gas production is expected to increase from 135 billion cubic meters in 2010 to an estimated 195 billion cubic meters by the end of 2019. With Qatar's heavy economic reliance on the extraction of natural gas and oil from deposits the country sits on, We believe that starting an engineering and trade school that can supply properly educated and trained workers for employment in the energy industry would be a business plan poised for consistent growth and steady cash flow. To begin the process, creating partnerships with oil, natural gas, and other energy production companies would facilitate a flow of information, technology, and experience that would jumpstart the educational endeavors of the school. Additionally, linked research and developmental opportunities can be started with these firms, offering the prime benefit of close location to the supply source. We aim to appeal to the demographical section of males aged 16 to 30 years old who come from lower middle to upper middle class and have enough financial wherewithal to pay for tuition. A partnership with energy firms for creating part-time student jobs that come with a tuition stipend would also help with technical hands-on experience. As firms grow and diversify their energy portfolios within the Middle East, the need for ongoing training and teaching will grow. As a secondary goal, becoming a regional training center for current employees would bolster our prestige in the industry. The ultimate goal of the facility would be to become the premier research and developmental center for oil and natural gas firms in the region, to provide the most in-depth and applicable educational opportunities, as well as to train blue-collar workers for positions in the field. There are amazing opportunities for growth in the Qatari economy, especially within the natural gas and oil industry. Additionally, the upcoming FIFA World Cup will definitely bolster their place on the world stage. Thank you for tuning in. We hope that you gained cultural and business insight on the country of Qatar.